Hello, Pooja.
Hi,
I'm really glad that you are with us.
yeah, thank you.
And I'm also really glad that we are doing this program, this 7 week Navigating Emotions through IFS and Art program with you. And the last one we did, I remember like it was a really beautiful experience. And now we are doing a conversation about our program. And we have a lot of questions to talk to about. And thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking care of all this. And yeah, I'm
Mhm.
happy to talk. Yeah.
So, before we'll go into the conversation, I would like to give a small introduction to yours to people who are listening to this conversation. Right. So, Pooja is a seasoned intuitive healer and a certified internal family system practitioner with over 20 years of experience in helping people reconnect with their bodies, elevate pain, and achieve holistic well being. Currently living in Canada, she combines the latest neuroscience insights with a trauma informed approach, empowering clients to access their own healing potential. IFS is more than a practice for Pooja, it is a philosophy she embodies daily, guiding her personal and professional life. Currently, she is training in expressive art therapy and relational intelligence. Pooja is deepening her skills to support others on their transformative journey. With this, I would like to welcome you again, Pooja, to the space.
Thank you. And thank you for the introduction. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, let's go towards our first question,
Mhm.
which is very interesting one, and I would also like to know about it. Can you tell us about your journey and how you first got interested in IFS therapy and using art to help people heal their emotions?
Mm, My journey has more been a spiritual one. I was always a seeker. Even when I was in school, I was always asking questions about God. What is happening? Why are we here? What do we need to do? And I I I started reading things like I read Bhagavad Gita while I was still in school. When I was in college, I was reading heavy spiritual books and doing spiritual practices like Kriya Yoga and other meditation practices. I was doing even past life regression by myself. So I was always interested in the mystical, and there was a deep longing for something beyond ourselves. Where do we belong? Is there somebody looking out for us or not? So
Mhm,
like I said, I read different philosophies, I practiced certain things, but still something felt missing. And I kept getting pieces together. And then I realized that how mind and body are connected and how important and crucial it is for spiritual journey, because otherwise it was very easy for me to get blissed out in meditation, but very difficult to stay grounded in my life. So so there was something missing, and after mind body connection, I still felt like I needed more of something. I read Vipassana is very, the central tenet is about equanimity. So you bring your breath, you bring your attention back to your breath, you bring your attention and focus back to your body sensations. I still felt something missing because there felt like I am still doing this, and there is a um, sense of effort. Of course, there is an effort, but also a sense of something's missing. And when I heard the IFS philosophy for the first time, the central tenet for IFS is compassion. And um, it was really interesting for some of us who have deep childhood trauma and deep shame sometimes because of neglect. We can have really self-debilitating thoughts and feelings and emotions, really difficult ones, like nothing really helps. So with IFS and with compassion, I did one of my Vipassana 10-day retreats, in IFS style, like very IFS informed. And that was a transformative experience for me as well. I mean, I was listening to their instructions, but inside I was doing my own thing, not very far from their instructions, but also including compassion for my parts. So that really felt like this is what I've come to, and this is what really it feels like my path. Like I felt like I'm home. I felt I found my style of doing things, and because because I was already reading and learning about trauma, I came across certain things from neuroscience which resonated very deeply with me, like a very common spiritual teaching that says we need to love ourselves first in order to be loved from others. And when I go deep into neuroscience and how interpersonal neurobiology works, how trauma affects our nervous system, and how we really need to take nervous system into account while healing trauma. Otherwise, so many trauma healing practices, um, the therapist or the practitioner can also go and dissociate with the client and not really help them. It is comforting, it is relieving, but at the same time it's not really effective for the long term, or it gets stretched to years. Like you hear people being in therapy for 7 years, 10 years, and it's insane for me. Like I can't imagine, like if we are doing things right, why is it taking 7 years? And there are a lot of myths about the, because there's a lot of information in media. There's a lot of TikTok going on, shorts, and so people say, oh, it takes 30 days to change a habit. It doesn't. Like it depends on the emotional stakes. If you're if you, like we had it recently, we changed the water heater in our place, and it was far more efficient than the previous one. So very quickly the very hot water started coming. It didn't take us 30 days to change the habit of increasing the water tap slowly. No, it was just the second time it was done, because otherwise we would burn ourselves because the water was so hot. So so this is an example. And sometimes some things you may keep doing for years and still not be. It also depends how somatic it is. I watched a video which said, um, which was a simple experiment, a bicycle, which you, if you turn this side, the bicycle will go this side, but if you turn this side, the bicycle would go this side. It took this person more than 4 months to get used to it, because it's also very somatic, it's also very body based. It's like body impulse to move this way and go this way, move
Yeah.
this way and go this way. To rewire it took him 4 months. So there are a lot of myths in spiritual teachings. There is a lot of misinformation, and also naive optimism, like law of attraction. You ask, believe, receive, you get it. Nobody talks about the real hard things. I am feeling bad now. What? Now what? Am I going to manifest bad things? No, I'm not. That's not how it works. So yeah, that's, and also that was my entry into art. And it's actually okay. Maybe I can just go on. And we think that we need to heal emotions. We actually emotions are doing their thing, and that's how our neurology works. Every emotion is a neurological function. We need anger in order to set boundaries. We need anger to know that we've been violated. We need pain to know that something is not okay inside, something is hurting. If somebody comes and stabs you with a knife in your back and you don't hurt, or you don't bleed, you will not, you if you don't hurt, if it doesn't give you pain, you will not know, and you will bleed to death. So pain is
Mm.
very important function. And we don't really need to heal emotions. What we need to really heal is our relationship with emotions. Like growing up, some households, anger is not allowed. Some places sadness is considered a bad thing. If you are envious, it's, oh, there is a lot of do's and don'ts around what is okay to feel and what is not okay to feel. So it's the relationship with difficult emotions that we need to heal. And IFS gives a very good perspective on how and why the parts are reacting the way they are reacting. That's what I love
Hmm.
about IFS. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'm just amazed like how you intertwine neuroscience with the spirituality because that amazes me a lot, right? Nobody talks about how much
Yeah.
neuroscience goes into spirituality. Yes. Yeah.
All spiritual, all meditation practice is in some way function of the brain, and some parts of the brain get active because of some kinds of meditation, and people can levitate. That is also true.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
vipassana, you going your what you're strengthening is your interoception, your perception of what is happening inside my body. Neuroscience is also about exteroception, like what is happening outside of me, or neuroception, my sense of balance, my sense of the we know the five senses we have is very rudimentary model. We have way
Yeah.
more senses than, yes. We can sense a lot of things about people, about things, about places.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
hmm, I feel
no,
for me,
I'm just like when you
yeah,
please go on.
for me, working with myself, like on my own spiritual journey, I first felt like felt the missing piece in my day to day living, in my day to day experience. But neuroscience actually brought much more clarity to my spiritual path and my spiritual journey, and what it actually means. People can have trips with psychedelics, but that's not enlightenment. They may have enlightenment
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
experiences, but that is not enlightenment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it became crucial
Yeah.
for me to, yeah, I'm really curious about how and what is happening and why is it happening, what is actually going on in the brain, because ultimately all
Hmm.
perception is through brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I would also like to know how, uh, with IFS, like how using arts and like helping people with arts came into your life, and like using arts to heal their emotions. Yeah.
Mm, using art, I feel art, when we are in a psychotherapy setting, there is a language, there is a model, there is a philosophy or theory behind. If you're doing CBT, the theory is your behavior is governed by your thoughts, and if you change your thoughts, your behavior changes. So there is a philosophical underpinning to every style of therapy and even healing. Or everything is energy, everything is love and light. So there are some philosophical underpinnings. I feel they take us they give us some assumptions already, rather than unraveling what is inside of us and working with truth of the moment. Like Vipassana says, it's truth of this moment. What is happening in me in this moment? What is the truth of this moment? This moment. This moment. So rather than having more philosophy, that's what I like about IFS. It's not a philosophy. It's a way of. It's a systems thinking, like how system influences parts within each other. So how art came into my. I feel for me, I have always used art, not in the sense I was better than my siblings, so I got to make their school diagrams. But I always used art, like when I had migraine during my growing up years. I still remember I would hold my pencil like this and make some angry scribbles, and that helped me just went out. And also, it gave me movement. It gave me, so we move all the time, and we it's in our language. We say I feel stuck. That means I need movement.
Yeah.
Need movement. Let's move then. So I feel expressive arts, which is like what I'm studying, they we use all forms of art, like music, dance, movement, poetry, journaling, drawing, painting. craft making, anything, cooking, like could be anything. We're not doing cooking at school, but anything creative uh, that activates different side of brain. And how I got into it, because I used to always ask myself, if my father didn't want me to become an engineer, what would I be? And if I was not so preoccupied with trying to heal my trauma, who would I be? What would I be doing? And art is the thing that came to me. I feel like there was an artist in me somewhere which um,
Hmm.
got lost in the process.
Yeah.
And I feel it's our natural expression. Like some people have a flair for music. You listen to a music and you want to move. There's this thing about music. Oh, I love the beat of this song or something. Some people like movies and storytelling. Like stories can be much more powerful way of touching us deeply than a spiritual teaching. I read this
Yeah.
book when I was in college by Richard Bach. It's called book. The book is called Illusions. It was a story, but the story touched me really deeply. And I had, by the time I had read so much philosophies, J. Krishnamurti, Advaita Vedanta, and Vedanta and non-dual teachings. I was also reading Osho. I was reading a lot of things at that time. But the way the story touched me was far different than how plain old this is how it is and this is how it should be
Hmm.
done kind of
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
gyan, kind of a gyan. Yeah, that didn't. I feel we are much closer to art than we may realize.
Hmm.
Mm, we
For
recreate
sure.
ourselves. Like recreation is not just having fun, but it is also recreating myself. So it's a means of recreation. We go and watch movies, we listen to music, we want to make some things, we learned a new recipe and now we want to make it differently. Now we want to play with it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
play and art, I think they activate different parts of the brain, which is really helpful in healing. It doesn't have to be all heavy and sad and bad and this stuff. So this adds much more, mm, I would say, it adds much more liveliness to the process of trauma healing.
Yeah,
I Yeah, I
I
love
agree.
art. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you are talking about arts, like it came out right. Like art helps us explore different part of ourselves, and it's just not like only speaking. It's about moving. It's about play. It's about
Mm.
music, and that's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
we all like do that, right? We when we hear a song, when we listen to a song, some of the other emotion comes out, and we
Yes.
explore that emotion with that music or with that dance.
Yes.
That's
And also
beautiful.
language and thinking is just one part of the brain. There's a whole lot more brain. Yes.
Yeah.
And trauma is about integrating different parts of the brain. So
Mm,
b- even my if because of trauma I don't have much sense of my body, that is also one part of the brain is not really communicating with another part of the brain.
mm, yeah. Wow,
Mm.
that's beautiful.
Mm. When
Let's
somebody
move
else,
towards.
sorry, one more
Sorry,
thing I
please,
must say.
please, please,
When
please go on.
somebody else, when somebody else is in distress, all our gyan comes out and we can give them very good counsel, we can give them very good advice. But when we are in difficulty, we don't have access to that part of our brain. So
Hmm.
it's so
Yeah, yeah.
when our brain is more integrated, we have that gyan for ourselves. And that's the best part. And
Mm,
that's what is desired actually in spirituality. Like I need to know it inside of me and not because somebody else experienced something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. So now we are talking about parts. So let's talk about IFS therapy. And
Mhm.
uh, this is one of the questions where, like in IFS therapy, we talk about different parts of ourselves. Can you
Mhm.
explain what that means and how it helps people understand their emotions?
um, when we experience something big that we cannot handle by ourselves, we need somebody else to be with us and co-regulate, like let our brain know that we are still okay. We experience something really bad and we are still okay, not verbally, not with body language, but with their calm nervous system present with our nervous system. Like for a child, it's a very tragic thing if their toy is broken or a doll is lost. But for mother, she knows it's no big deal. But if she's still here, oh, I can understand how you're feeling, and it's really bad. And oh, I'm here with you, and we'll we'll try and see if we can get a new doll. And that gives not just the verbal things, but the calm nervous system of the mother regulates the child, and they know even in my distress, I'm still okay. With IFS, and when we are not receive that kind of calm nervous system, calm person being with us, then we split parts of ourselves out because we have to function. As a child, we have to go to school. As an adult, we have to go to office. We can't be in that dysregulated, in that difficult emotion state for a long time. So we have to cut it out and get to work. So that cut it out become, those things becomes parts, and they have their own point of view, they have their own story, they have their own needs and desires. So with IFS, we connect with those parts and attend to their needs, lovingly, respectfully, and compassionately. So that helps to kind of those parts not being dysfunctional, not being disorganized or dysregulated anymore. So they ease down. So they are not doing extreme behaviors like they were doing before. Like I want, say for example, I want to stop eating so much sugar, but there is a part of me that craves sugar. So these are two different subpersonalities, and when we bring them together, maybe with art, maybe, I mean, I include art every time I do IFS. It's some way, let this part express their needs and fears and desires, and let this part express. And when they both parts get to see each other, which doesn't happen so much in our disconnected brains, there's a cognitive integration as well. And yeah, and also I love how IFS flows. It's very natural. It's like natural healthy parenting, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, if I put it that way, it's natural healthy parenting for those unparented parts, unattended parts. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it works very well. Hmm.
Yeah. It seems really beautiful and really powerful to see that, like, through play, we can just integrate both those parts, which wants very different things, and they meet
Yes.
each other and they understand each other and they talk, and then they come out to conclusion that, yeah, this is healthy for us. Let's do that. It seems
Yeah,
like two kids are meeting each other and understanding.
and also they both get their needs met. So we
Yeah,
still like sugar, but we don't crave it
yeah,
as much as, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Maybe they will decide to have jaggery instead of refined sugar, and that is
Yes,
it.
yes. Mm.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Mhm.
Um, let's go towards next one, and that is, how does working with emotions like grief, anger, and fear through IFS helps people heal, and how does art support this process? I think we talked a bit about it already. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, some emotions are difficult to express in words. Like
Hmm.
I feel something, and sometimes we have a mixed cocktail of emotions.
Hmm.
So with art, we can express them like role playing, like movement, like scribbling on paper or making something. Like they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So rather than saying 1,000 words, I just make a picture, even if it is in stick figures. So you don't really need artistic skills for that. Like this is not the art that This is not artist's art. This is
Mm-hmm.
layperson's art, doodling
Yeah.
art, scribbling art. Yeah. So it's much easier to express some things non-verbally than using words. Mm.
Mm, yeah. And I can imagine like it's really difficult uh personally for me to like express anger, and
Mm.
sometimes it gets easier when I like just draw something with it, and the emotions start like I embody that emotion, and that helps a lot. I can
Mm.
understand what you're saying.
Mm.
Hmm. So, in the workshop, you guide people to connect with their emotions through creative art activities. What can
Mhm.
participants expect when they use art to explore tough feelings? We are talking about several things.
We're talking about similar things, but I really liked something. You used the word embodying emotions. This
Yeah.
is this is again that same integration. Like the part of me is split off, so the emotion is just felt here. But when part of
Hmm.
me is, we attempt at integrating this part with the rest of us, that emotion may be
Mm-hmm.
dissipated in larger body area, which also helps um, gain insights
Mm-hmm.
and have our own wisdom on the situation. Like in expressive art, a typical expressive art therapy session, we never tell people what to do or how to do, what to think. We let the art, what they made, speak to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What you have drawn, we just ask questions. We just with utter curiosity, like again the IFS principle of curiosity. We just ask questions, and it's they themselves realize, oh, I need to take things easy. Oh, I need to enjoy the beauty of this moment. Like, had I told this thing to them 100 times, it wouldn't make any difference. But when it comes from within themselves, that's the brain integration we are looking for. Mm.
Mm. Uh, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yes.
Hmm.
Just
So,
yesterday I was working. Just yesterday I was working with. I was doing one-on-one session with a client, and she said this. That's why it's on top of my mind. Like, I know I have a lot of problems in my life, but I really want to also enjoy my life in the moment. And I let that art speak to her, and I kept asking questions, and that art itself told her that how can we do that? So it's not
mm-hmm.
me telling
Wow.
you how can you do that. I'm not giving her ideas. It's she getting
Yeah.
ideas from inside, but via
Yeah.
she expressed. Yes, that's
Yeah.
integration. That's brain integration. One part expresses, the
Yeah.
other part receives.
Yeah. Yeah. I have been told by Seth Gopal very often that all these parts, all these emotions hold a lot of intelligence inside them, and if you would compassionately, as a friend, ask them, they would let you know what to
Of
do, and
course.
that's what you are saying right now. Yeah.
Yes. Hmm. This is
Uh,
also, this becomes a thing. Like I painted this. This become a thing for me. Now it's outside me. So it's a kind of externalization of parts. So I had an intention before painting this, and I now that part of me or that cluster of parts is outside of me. I can communicate with it like I can communicate with a person. This is
yeah.
this is very parts work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the concept of parts makes
Mm.
sense to me neurobiologically also very much, because we have to dissociate. Like, say for example, you even growing up, we need that kind of being, that ability to disconnect from our emotions and just get going with life. I was feeling really horrible, and now I have a meeting. So what do? You just flip, right?
Yeah.
We were fighting at home, and some guests come. What do we do? We forget everything and we attend them.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
dissociation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like a therapy, or this thing is like coming back to those places where we had to dissociate as a child or
Mm.
as an adult even, and bring them back. Hmm.
Mm. Yeah.
And really use their wisdom. What is it that all emotions have their own wisdom, We think
Mm-hmm.
emotions are the
Yeah.
problem, but emotions are not the problem. It's the
Yeah.
splitting off. It's the disconnection that needs to be repaired, that needs to be healed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So there are few emotions that people struggle with a lot, and most of them, like it goes around anger and anxiety,
Hmm.
which comes to people very often. But
Hmm.
like, how does IFS help us understand these emotions as protectors? Because we have to look at them compassionately. So,
Yes,
and how can we work with them? Yeah.
yes. Anger and anxiety and sadness, all these are expressions of how I received an experience. Something happened to me, and my system responded with sadness,
Mhm.
right? So sadness is an expression, is is my internal expression to the impression of the word or the impression of the event that happened. Somebody said something and it made me extremely sad. So there is an event, the impression in my body, in my on my system, my person, and my expression is sadness. Oh, that's how I'm responding to it, right? And
Yeah.
not all sadness is expressed as words or facial expressions or gestures. Not all anger. I mean, I know people who do, okay, I need to release anger, I need to beat pillow. That will give you some relief, but that will not actually heal the part. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I lost your question. Did I answer your question or I'm going off tangent?
Basically, it was about knowing them as protector, yeah, under
Knowing them as
IFS,
protector.
and how can
Yes.
we work with them? Yeah.
Yes, for my anger to come out if I've been violated or somebody said something very mean to me and I get angry at them, oh how dare they say this thing to me. That's a protector, that's a protective function that this is not okay with me. I don't want to experience this again. So my anger
Mm-hmm.
is here as a protector to protect me and to also help me set that boundary with the person, that I can tell them, oh this is making me very angry. It's not something that I want to hear ever again.
Yeah. Uh,
Yes.
and and I believe same goes with anxiety. It helps us like dissociate at that moment to the things which is making us anxious because it is too much to take. Is it something?
Too much anxiety is more about a future event, an anticipated event. Fear is
Mm-hmm.
there is a threat in my face right now. Oh, mm, I'm in extremely cold weather and the power supply goes off. That is fear. I'm in a situation,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm in a very cold weather and my thought that power supply might go off.
Mm-hmm.
That is anxiety. So it's anxiety
Mm-hmm.
is because of our past. Oh, life has not been fair and easy and this thing, we tend to project things on future, and some of the things are good guesses, like our brain is a
Mm-hmm.
prediction machine. Some of them are really
Mm-hmm.
good guesses. If I will go and I have to pass through a place which has a burning ring or something, or if I have to walk on burning coal, I have anxiety because I know fire will burn my skin.
Mm-hmm.
That is anxiety.
Yeah.
But again, that's a whole
Yeah.
big topic. But anxiety is more of a projection, and it is also a protective function. I don't want to go there. I don't want to experience that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and so how do I work with? And it's always something from the past that is being carried forward. Because if I have no idea about something, what is going to happen, maybe that could be a point of trigger of anxiety for someone, or that not knowing can also become fearful. Or
Mm-hmm.
if I really know what is going to happen, that then it doesn't feel anxious to me. So it's always we always look at life through history colored glasses. So if in my history, in my past, this not knowing was dangerous, so if I'm going to any new situation where I don't know, that will bring up anxiety.
Yeah.
And again, IFS
Yeah.
is connecting those parts and helping them relax the protective function, because yes, something happened in the past, but it is not happening now. That also
Yeah.
doesn't mean we will forget that sticking our hand in fire would hurt. We don't forget that. It's not like
Mhm.
it's not amnesia that if I'm going to forget all my past or something. No, we still retain that wisdom, that learning. That is how our species has survived for millions of years, because we retain what is useful information. Like
Mhm.
eating this plant will kill me, so we instinctively don't go and eat it. That's in our genes, that gets solidified and embodied into us. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah. That's a beautiful explanation to both these anger and anxiety as protectors.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Mm. Okay. And let's talk about art again and uh, how art help us express emotions which are hard to put in words, and how this creative process uh, makes our emotional healing easier than just like putting that into words. Uh,
mm, mm, mm. So I will give an example from IFS. In IFS,
mhm,
a protector is activated. Say my firefighter, I somebody said something to me and I'm going on and on and on. How can I get back at them? So there is this anger trying to manifest itself as vengeance, or I want to get back at them. What do I tell them? How do I make them realize that they've done something bad? So there is so with IFS, what happens? We get in touch with the protector, and we see we get if we get some space from that protector, then we can get to interact with the protector, right? If
yeah,
if
yeah,
it is all of me, if I am angry, then there is no possibility of I talking to I. But if I can see it as a
yes,
part, that this part of me is angry, then I can have a conversation with the part. But if I am
mhm,
angry, the part has taken over me, then it's not parts. We cannot do parts work. It's a state. I'm in a state of
mhm,
anger. I'm in a state of fight and flight. My sympathetic nervous system is activated. So when we are in state, IFS is by yourself is not possible. Even with sometimes with therapist, it takes a lot of time to get some space from the protector so you can
mhm,
connect with yourself.
mhm,
But what we do with art and creativity, we just start something, like start a movement or something, and then maybe we are playing a game with each other, and I'm passing you a ball, and you get to change it into something else. You make it a slinky, and you pass it back to me. So I have a slinky now, and I make it a play-doh, and I'm playing with it and squishing it, and I'm giving it back to you. And so so we are introduced play, creativity, and expression. When we introduce play, creativity, and expression, now I am not the angry part. I'm not in that state anymore. A different part of my brain is activated, and this part of the brain is
yeah,
self, is creative, is curious. Like, oh, I have a slinky now. What do I do with it? I play with it, or I play with it like this. So it evokes different part of the brain, which is getting back into self energy, and then going back with our creation, whatever we created, the interplay or the visual art or the poetry, whatever we created, now we go back and interact with it. It's like interacting with the parts.
mhm,
So there is a break in that state into self energy, and
mhm,
now going with that self energy, going back to that expression. Does it make sense?
mhm.
It's Yeah. Did I articulate it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It does make
Basically,
sense. It does make.
so basically, many a times we it's hard to get space from our parts. Sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
need to externalize them. We take objects, oh, this is this part and this is this part, but still we may be very
Mm-hmm.
much blended, and we need to let our parts to step back. Sometimes that
Mm-hmm.
happens, sometimes it takes time, but bringing in play, bringing in creativity, and bringing in a form of expression, whether it's movement based, whether it is sound based, or whether it is art based, colors, and some, we're giving it an expression. We are letting the part express itself and activating the parts of brain which are more playful, creative, curious, expansive, and then go back to that part and attend to them. So it's basically adding more fun to the process, if you
Mm-hmm.
like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because trauma
yeah.
and difficult
Um,
emotions is difficult things, it's big things, and if we
mhm,
have to go all difficult, and then we reach compassion, that also gives our brain a message that we have to feel bad in order to feel good. We have to feel bad first in order to
mm,
feel good, which is a very big
yeah,
shortcoming of regular therapy, because then people think,
mhm,
oh, I want to feel better, but I know I have to dive into my trauma and feel bad first so I
mm,
can feel better later. But but it breaks that spell, and there
yeah,
is a lot of research on this organic intelligence, that we don't have to feel bad first in order to feel better later. That is what really
mhm,
calls me. And why not make the whole process fun, and also satisfying. It's very satisfying. End of
mhm,
the session, you have something. You have a art piece, you have a poem, you have some movement. It's quite
mhm,
satisfying. Yeah. Mm. It's
yeah.
fun and satisfying. So
Oh,
yes, that is my answer.
wow, it is like it seems really beautiful to know that yeah, healing can be this playful, healing can be enjoyable because
And
usually like healing healing is like it is considered to be a really painful process, but with
really painful
arts it
process.
can be yeah, yeah.
Yes. And I had this question some time back with my supervisor, and I said, a part of me feels that if I become a therapist, then I will be steeped in people's pain all the time. Like now, I'm not steeped in my pain, but I'm steeped in others' pain. And she said, "But I want to play. That the child in me wants to play." And she said, "Who
Mhm,
said that you can't play when you are sad or in grief? There
mhm.
can be a sad play, there can be a grief play, and we did sad play with each other. Like she did it with me, and I was like, wow, I can play in grief, I
Mhm.
can play in sadness, I can play in anger.
Ah,
This is a very common expression, the dance of anger. This is a play. The Shiva is dance of
mhm,
anger. What Shiva does
mhm.
is the dance of
Yeah,
anger. It's playful. It's angry. It's violent, rageful anger, and it's playful.
wow. What a
Yeah.
beautiful example this is.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, uh, now we have reached to the last one, and this
Okay.
is, I think, one of the most beautiful one. My will be as a facilitator. What's one of the most meaningful shifts you have seen in people when they connect with their emotional parts and start to heal? Yeah.
Their reconnection with creativity, play,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
their connection with storytelling. They basically, when people heal, they want to then connect with others. If I made something in
Mm-hmm.
my sad play,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I
Mm-hmm.
made a poem, I made a art piece. Now I want to share it. That's a natural reaction. What happens when you listen to a very good joke? The first thing that comes to, who can I share it with? Like I recently heard
Yeah.
a Punjabi
Yeah. Yeah.
joke, and I was like, who can I share it with? Who understands Punjabi? So it's
Yeah.
the thing. That's our natural evolution to of regulated nervous system towards the ventral energy, towards the social outreach. And with art, it is easier to connect with others. Oh, I wrote this poem. I don't have to tell them what all I have been through. But when they read, it touches them. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. It
Yeah.
may touch somebody, yeah. And also, the art that is done out of genuine, heartfelt emotions, whether it is rage or anger or sadness or fear or anything, that art is really touching for somebody who is sensitive enough to receive that,
Yeah.
to let them have
Yeah.
that impression. Yes. So what people, the most beautiful shift is people want to be more playful. They want to be, the struggles of life are here and they will not go away. No matter how much amount of healing we do, there will still be more to do.
Yeah.
But it makes journey much more beautiful, much more playful, much more alive and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And also
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
breaks that myth of I have to feel bad first in order to feel better
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's best of Asul for me.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. And I also remember recently I talked to Yulia. Uh, she learned from Gabor, and Gabor always says that it's important to have playfulness in our life, and we love people who even if we are in our troubles, or like we are going through difficult emotions, and they can bring playfulness in that. We love
Yes.
that to happen. So why not make healing playful and make healing enjoyable and experience all the emotions with playfulness, right? Yeah.
Yes. And also it's with the kind of healing and therapy that I saw, at least in my experience, there is a
Hmm.
destination addiction kind of thing. Oh, after this
Yeah.
is healed, I get there, then I will be happy. Then I will be maybe have fun or enjoy my life. So there's a kind of destination addiction. I get there,
Yeah.
then after
Yeah.
that, I once I lose weight, after that I will be happy. No, yeah, it
Hmm.
breaks those spells. Um, and it makes journey more beautiful, yeah,
Yeah.
and also much more easier on ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. The process is, if the process is enjoyable and it's playful, it's like it's if people can enjoy the process, why would there would be any destination to reach, because they are enjoying simultaneously, right?
And also
Yeah.
this is the reality of life. We will in future
Yes.
also we will lose loved ones. We will
Mhm.
go into grief. We will be sad for certain things. We will be angry, and this is not going to ever go away. Like in our traditional spirituality, there is this thing that we work hard, tapasya karenge, and then we reach a point where nothing
Mhm.
touches us anymore and we are above
Mhm.
and beyond all of that.
Mhm.
In my understanding, it's the window of tolerance that grows so much, that my capacity for joy grows so much, that I take grief in my stride, I take sadness in my stride, I take life in my stride, and that's the
Mm.
kind of evolution I'm looking for. Yeah, like
Yeah.
feel still being touched by people. If I see somebody in great pain, that makes me my heart go out for them, and maybe I cry with them.
Mhm.
But there's still a welcoming to it, because I know playfulness, and I know that
Mhm.
this is a state and this is a phase, and end of the day, deepest part of our brain, our system, our psyche, and ourselves is the part that really wants to be seen, wants to be witnessed.
Mm.
And in difficult emotions of each other, when we are there to witness, that is healing. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I'm just taking this in. Okay. So, this is really the last one. Uh, what would you say to the people who are
Uh,
watching this video, and would you extend an invitation to them so that they can take the step of joining this program? Anything you have for them to hear before they,
mhm.
yeah, register or think about, if they are still thinking about registering.
I want to extend an invitation to be open to what is happening. We are not denying the existence of difficult emotions and suffering and pain. We are also including ways and means to make that journey more meaningful and connected to each other, more playful, and while also integrating everything. Life is not just suffering. There is a lot of ananda, a lot of bliss, and a lot of joy. Uh, yeah, and to be able to live with both at the same time is something that is true transformation for me. To be able to live with mm, both suffering and joy at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. What a beautiful invitation it is.
thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks a lot, Pooja. Thanks a lot for this beautiful conversation, and I thoroughly enjoyed. And I have many more questions to ask, and for that, I'm very much looking forward to the course which we are doing, the program which we'll be doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm also looking
So
forward to it.
yeah.
Mhm.
So very soon we'll see each other with a lot of participants, and
Yes.
we'll do this together.
Yes.
Thanks
Thank
again
you.
for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Bye bye. Take care.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Solversations with Living Consciously. For more, go to www.livingconsciously.com